So the question came up of providing a rough idea of implementation and user cost. So we've got two models. We have a hosted model where we will host DTC in the cloud, and you pay essentially a weekly processing fee, or you can have it installed on premise. If you have it installed on premise, then you license it by named user, and it's going to range drastically, I guess, with the number of users that you've got. So it could be 25,000 to 150,000, depending on the number of users that you have. And implementation varies as well. We do the basic training and implementation, but we also have consultants who can come out in the field and kind of roll up their sleeves and take ownership of the implementation. So it really depends on your resource availability and your philosophy. So we've got a customer that they do all the first-line support, and they do all the training and rollouts within their organization. It's very, very cost-effective for them. They spend very little on implementation. And we have other customers where we've got up to 3 consultants in the field training and implementing DTC on all their different job sites, and that, you can imagine, is quite expensive. The one advantage, I guess, we have over maybe some other software vendors is that our folks, like I mentioned earlier, are qualified project administrators or project coordinators. So a lot of our customers will contract us, and our consultants put them out in the field and use them as a reimbursable resource on their job, because while they're implementing DTC, they're producing daily costs, daily, weekly invoices on behalf of that customer. So there's a net benefit to using our consultants in certain situations. We can definitely follow up as well. Like if you want to give us the number of users you've got and the type of implementation you would prefer, we can definitely give you a pretty good estimate of what that would cost. Is there a log tracking approval process built into the software? And yes, there is. We've got an approval process within DTC, and it's really intended to be designed by you for your internal approval requirements. So we can, as an example, when a timesheet's entered into DTC, it's the status is pending by default, and then you can define, we have pending and approved are the only system defaults, and then you can define whether it's on hold or it's been rejected or it's been resubmitted or it's been submitted for approval or waiting on approval by owners. So that approval process is definitely there, and it's intended to be configurable to meet your specific approval path. Do we have any other questions? So a question is, cost coding is validated, and what happens when an incorrect cost code is entered? In DTC, we've got different user profiles, so some people have the ability to set up cost codes and others do not. When the time is being entered on a timesheet, only valid cost codes will be available to the data entry person, so they won't be able to enter to incorrect cost codes. That's, I guess, our way of ensuring that time's entered to pre-approved accurate cost codes. Oh, an excellent question. Can an operator set up automated uploads of valid cost codes as they change, etc.? And step back from that question a little bit and just say that we recognize, when we architected DTC, we recognized that we wouldn't be the only system our customers would be using. So every element within DTC we can import and export. So we can, if you've got an HR system set up with all of your resources in it, we can integrate with that on a daily basis so that you're not rekeying personnel into DTC, that you're not getting employee numbers out of sync, as an example. And cost codes are no exception. So we can definitely import cost codes on a daily, weekly, hourly basis, whatever makes the most sense for your organization and your project. And then that way we know that they're 100% accurate and they're 100% in sync with the system that may be the owner of cost codes, your financial system or your schedule, as an example. So the question is, in the case of an invalid cost code, will the total timesheet be invalid or only the particular entry? And another excellent question, and the way that we have set DTC up is that each line item in DTC is unique. So each line within a timesheet is unique. And if one line in that timesheet is incorrect, we're able to essentially take that line out of that timesheet, or we can process all the other lines that are correct and then have that incorrect line on hold until it's been corrected. So I'm not sure if I'm explaining that eloquently, but if there's an invalid line on a timesheet and it has been rejected, we can still process the rest of that timesheet for invoicing purposes, as an example, and then that incorrect line item will be put on hold until it's been corrected. So, an example that we see in the industry is a contractor will submit an invoice for, say, $90,000, and there'll be a $200 line item that gets rejected, and so the whole invoice gets kicked back. So in DTC, we can take that line item out, put it on hold, resubmit, and get paid for the amount that is correct, which is the significant portion of that invoice, while we deal with those little exceptions or disputed items, and we don't hold up the entire process because a few items have been disputed. Next question is, do you have contractor clients that have their owners directly accessing the system and approving the items? And we've actually been working to try to get that level of integration between contractors and owners, but we don't have any live cases of that going on today. There's some reluctance. We find just digital approvals and contractors allowing owners to log into their system, or owners allowing contractors to log into their system, it's vice versa. So it definitely, from a technical perspective, it's not an issue at all. It's really more of a philosophy or a comfort level that the contractors and owners need to come to terms on. So we're at an hour. We're happy to field any other questions that you may have. Understand that time is always precious. So if we don't have any other questions, we can close off the webinar. And again, we'll have a short survey for you to fill in after the fact, just to help us improve our process and delivery of our information. And again, in that survey, if you do have any other questions or would like some follow-up information, there's an opportunity for you to let us know, and we're happy to follow up with you at your convenience. So unless there's any other questions, we'll wrap things up and ask you to fill out that survey. Thanks so much for your time today. today. We really appreciate you taking a look at our software, and again, any feedback you can provide is extremely valuable and welcome. So thanks again.